like my fathers come to pass.
I am the storm that is approaching.
Holy mother of Baby Yoda and Babu Frick. Somehow,
Palpatine returned.
not yet, Moon Knight. We're gonna get there. First, I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Recently, the channel has hit 10,000 subscribers, and it's all thanks to you because somehow,
Palpatine returned.
I swear to the Force, Duke Leto, just give me a second. It's been an amazing journey with you all, and I finally wanted to give you guys a video that has been requested for over a year. That's right. If you can't tell by the title of the video, somehow
Palpatine returned.
Yes, okay, Poe, we get it. This is the video on the first time Palpatine returned. Are you happy now? Are you happy? Are you good inside Lumen Davis? Okay? Now go return Hux's cat to him before Kylo throws a fit, okay? I swear, home dude is lucky Finn and Rey are laying pipe, otherwise I would have gotten one of them to do this. Star Wars, Dark Empire, written by Tom Vigiette. I am probably not saying that name right, but I went to public schools and not very good ones at that. Dark Empire was a comic series trilogy that ran from 1991 to 1995. In that series, we watched the Emperor Palpatine return to take control of the galaxy. Luke fail in his mission to return the Jedi and actually fall to the dark side, and everything the original trilogy characters fought for was almost destroyed.
Hey, I've seen this one.
Now, originally Dark Empire was the punching bag of the old EU of Star Wars. That has now been classified as Star Wars Legends, and a term that honestly is a badge of honor given the new continuity has gone off the deep end, and people like Leland Chi and Timothy Zahn have decided to just hang out in their own little pocket cannons and screw around there. Yes, I'm counting Zahn's new Thrawn books as their own canon because they might as well be to Dave Filoni. Mr. Cowboy Man, can you please focus more on making less Ahsoka appearances in every random part of the continuity, and maybe working with the animation department again and finally continuing the story you left hanging in 2018 and ending the story you started in 2008, for God's sakes, man. For a time, certain disrespectful Star Wars fans had regarded Legends as the lesser Star Wars, which makes the claim from certain people that all Star Wars is good ring kind of hollow, but you know, whatever, double standards. Yet, as the cultural war regarding Star Wars has shifted away from the sequel trilogy to now people questioning if the new canon even matters anymore, as there are more retcons in each new project than there are canceled Warner Brothers projects.
Another one bites the dust.
Many have become more open to discussing stories of Legends beyond just the KOTOR duology, the SWTOR game, and heir to the Empire trilogy.
I gotta tell you, it was perfect. Perfect. Everything, down to the last minute details. Just like her.
All of which slap, but I swear they just take up the entire discussion of Star Wars Legends where people like those are the only good things, which is not the case. And after getting multiple requests, emails, death threats, disturbing phone calls, I thought it was time to talk about Dark Empire. I thought I'd finally give it a crack. Now, the first thing you have to know about Dark Empire is that it is very much a product of the 90s. Now, not in the existential millennial dread always listening to Mr. Brightside, having a terrible, horrible sleep schedule, being addicted to one of these apps, being on Discord, running a podcast, running a YouTube channel, running a TikTok, or running a Twitter account, one of those things. Okay, no. What I mean by product of the 90s is that Dark Empire is some of the most Devil May Cry, Final Fantasy VIII, Berserk 1997 anime, blade edgy shit, and it is fucking beautiful. There is something so genuine about how Dark Empire treats its story. It's not trying hard to outsmart the audience. The only thing the story is doing is trying to be a darker follow-up to the original trilogy. And for the longest time, it was hated on endlessly. But what if I told you that Dark Empire had a satisfying way to showcase Luke's fall from grace after the original trilogy and bring back Palpatine? No, I'm not crazy. I mean, I am crazy just a little bit, but not in this sense. Let's talk about Dark Empire.
It's the 90s.
I'm not going to give you a play-by-play by Dark Empire, mostly because I'd rather you experience it for yourself, and also this is not that type of channel. If you would like to read Dark Empire, there are a couple of sites you can read it on if you don't feel like paying for it, you know, read comics online, all that stuff. I'm not suggesting pirate it. I'm not suggesting that at all. What I'm going to talk about is how the Dark Empire actually got things right when it came to handling Luke's fall from grace and Palpatine's return in ways that The Last Jedi didn't and The Rise of Skywalker couldn't because, well, the events of The Last Jedi. Now, this isn't going to be bashing either film. I don't want this video to be about whataboutisms, rather comparing what worked in Dark Empire and how those concepts could have been utilized better in the sequels. First off, let's talk about Luke, and side note, if you're cool with rocking with milking Luke and clone Luke, Devil May Skywalker shouldn't be that big of a leap for you. I feel like the biggest problem the sequel trilogy suffered from was the fact that regardless of if Luke sacrificed himself at the end of The Last Jedi, we've already been there, done that before, in better ways. Nothing beyond the spectacle of how Luke dies really matters in the grand scheme of things or is original in the saga of Star Wars or in any Star Wars trilogy or story outside of the saga. We've seen the Mentor die 3 times, and we have already seen the fallen heroes sacrifice themselves before. Actually, in Dark Empire, we even have Luke having a projection of himself in the comic series. You guys really did borrow a lot from that comic that you don't give credit to, but that's another story. But because it's old and it's not new, Dark Empire bad. A problem I feel like many people didn't see in The Last Jedi in regards to Luke is that by killing him off, it denies him the chance to redeem himself through life. Death equals redemption would work if it was a villain doing one selfless act and then dying. A villain who has done so many terrible things that life could never offer them any form of redemption and no one would ever want to see it from them. It doesn't clear them of anything they've done, but it's usually a big enough deal that the good deed they did could lead to many other good deeds. When it came to Anakin saving Luke, this allowed Luke to bring back the Jedi and do many good deeds in his life, or Kylo saving Rey, allowing her to bring back the Jedi and for Kylo to be reunited in space hell with Hux and Phasma. That's right, boys, it's time for that good old First Order spit. Yet killing off Luke to redeem him before the trilogy was even done, before the war was even over, before Kylo and the First Order is even defeated, before Rey was even fully trained, when he just came back into the story, and after breaking him and turning him into a completely different person only to about 70% put him back to where he was already, it robs Luke of so much. Most importantly, being able to actually make an impact and an amends to the things he did wrong and be more than just a footnote in the story of Star Wars. What Dark Empire gets right is that when Luke falls from grace, when he falls to the dark side, disappointing all of his friends, his family, and literally serving the man who ruined his family's life and the galaxy, he's the one who deals with fixing the situation. Luke fights the source of his problems, defeats him with the help of his friends, and lives to fix even the wrongs he's made. It's a longer road of redemption. Why does this work better? Because if we're actually talking about nuance, living and working to fix the mistakes you've made and taking the long road to redemption, especially for a character who has been objectively good for most of their entire history, offers more nuance on how we as people have to take a longer road to redemption. It's not just a quick, easy fix. Yes, Anakin dying was not easy and it didn't fix anything, but death equals redemption works more for an amoral hero that has literally no other good qualities to take from because of all the horrible things they did than it works for a hero who can work towards fixing everything. Luke made mistakes, terrible ones, yet by being able to live, he can work to fix those mistakes and continue to honor his father's legacy, to bring back the Jedi. Many people forget, Anakin didn't sacrifice himself because he wanted to destroy the Sith, or because he was the chosen one. He didn't care about those things in that moment because he wanted to save Luke. Nothing else matters besides that to Anakin, just saving his son. So Dark Empire not only allows Luke to redeem himself through life, it allows him to deal with the problems he caused to take care of it, and allows Anakin's sacrifice of saving his son and giving his son his life so he could live his own life matter a little more. Killing not Darth Plagueis, I don't know, Snoke, were you Darth Plagueis? You were probably Darth Plagueis. I mean Snoke, in The Last Jedi, robbed Luke, because that's it. You just killed the person who destroyed Luke's entire life. If you had Luke be the one to kill Snoke and it killed him as well, it at least does more. It at least allows Luke some form of redemption from the problems that he did not fix, because Snoke is the one who ruined everything, not Kylo. By extension, Kylo did, but you know, like Agatha all along, it was Snoke behind Kylo. Dark Empire shows us there are other ways to redeem a fallen hero, and for Luke Skywalker, one of the greatest heroes in Star Wars, redemption equals life. The life to fix your mistakes is a greater nuance than redemption equals death, because we've seen that before. Like I've said at least 3 times now. We've seen it before with Anakin, and we've seen the sacrifice done before with Obi-Wan Kenobi. Not original. Next up is Palpatine's Return. Now already The Rise of Skywalker has its cards against it because Palpatine wasn't even supposed to be a part of the original episode 9. Other villains were flirted with to be the villains in episode 9, yet despite changes from the filmmakers, yet despite changes with the writers, from Colin Trevorrow even to J.J. Abrams, episode 9, Kylo was likely always supposed to be the antagonist, even if there were variations of how he was the antagonist of the entire film. Besides Saloni Wren, the female Knight of Ren, who was the main villain of the final draft of Duel of the Fates, but that was done by Jack Thorne. That's a whole nother story that I've already talked about here. Click that video. Yet when the word came down to have Palpatine as the big bad of episode 9, whenever that meeting was, we've already got problems off the bat, and it's related to the first problems of, well, Luke Skywalker. There is no history between Rey and Palpatine, besides a loose family connection that was made out of Rey's multiple musical chair origins that really doesn't help, it actually serves to confuse the plot a little more. I'm not here to make a Rey Skywalker debate of whether or not you like it. I'm actually all for Rey Skywalker as Luke's kid, which she is. Anyway, now for the sake of transparency, I will say that there is an attempt with the ghosts of Luke, Leia, Anakin, and other Jedi helping Rey defeat Palpatine, which, credit where credit is due, it is still a way of confronting Palpatine. But there is a sense of unsatisfactory that, well, the person who messed up Luke's entire family, he never actually got to confront them. Instead, he's just assisting, which would have been a problem regardless if Palpatine didn't return, because again, Snoke. The Last Jedi left a mess on the floor by destroying Luke, killing off Snoke randomly without Luke having any involvement with that death, and cutting off any chance of Luke being able to fix anything because he died with peace and purpose, aka you're done, buddy. Your character arc is over. Now, you could ask if the problem is fixed by, say, having Kylo as the big bad of episode 9. And, well, not really. At the end of the day, love or hate the direction The Last Jedi took, it left Luke as more of a footnote in the story of Star Wars and in the conflict with Palpatine. And I'm not saying that's a good or a bad thing, that's up to you. You can be the judge of that. But in comparison, Dark Empire in all its edgelord glory managed to understand that Luke's purpose in the story, regardless of if he fell from grace or not, was to help bring a new age of the Jedi and live to fix the mistakes of the past, to make his father's sacrifice and every sacrifice he himself suffered matter. It's really funny when people talk about Anakin's sacrifice in the context of Palpatine, but we don't talk about all the sacrifices Luke made. And Luke made sacrifices. Luke lost things. And him dying and not being able to rectify the mistakes he made in his wake of running away, in his wake of, well, basically everything to do with The Last Jedi. Well, just making him the Obi-Wan, which we already had. And that's not too original, is it? Hey everyone, thank you for watching today's video. This was a long requested video and I'm happy to finally bring it to you. Recently I started making content full time and it starts this month that we also hit 10k, which is pretty crazy now that I think about it. I've made some updates to our Patreon, so go check it out if you're on it. And if you'd like to support the channel another way and don't feel like going to a separate website, you can always become part of the membership thingamabobby for YouTube. Works just like Patreon, only you stay on, I guess, the platform. More videos are coming real soon and thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys next time.